Hello, hello. Today I want to talk about matrix and what does that word really mean in regards to the etymology and the root of the word. Obviously, depending on where you are geographically and depending on how much you engage in certain sources such as media, you will be aware there's a certain film out recently and that is sort of circulating the word matrix being used just a little bit more in this moment in time. I'm not going to discuss the film, however we'll be discussing more about the etymology of the word matrix and what does it really mean. And as I'm sure some of you are aware, the English language is full of lovely, interesting spells, and there's a lot of words that are inverted in nature, or they have become inverted through various sources, such as schooling, media, and I'm sure you'll be able to find that there's science out there that will be able to tell you how many supposed Gregorian years it can take to be able to change a culture's perception, energy, emotion around a word or a number of words grouped together. And that can obviously mean that whatever it may have meant 50 years ago could mean something quite differently now. And schooling is a great way to monitor how that can happen. Obviously, the introduction of things like social media, that's actually helped perpetuate it in regards to how quickly that can happen as well. So, with that in mind and with being, I just wanted to share with you a beautiful brother's sharing of the word matrix from one of his ebooks, and also leave a link to his podcast down below, which you can go in and check out. He also did a podcast recently talking about the word matrix, but I just wanted to read for you, should I say, the meaning, the etymology of the word matrix. And you really do have to take out the whole sort of modern perceived idea of matrix and just come back to the real simple root terms of what it means. Mother, womb, the subconscious, the depths, the underbelly, all is presented for one's layering. Once her messages are decoded enough to understand her intent to nurture nature, one relaxes in remembrance of ordered chaos. So I'll just let that sink in for a little bit. You've got to laugh and applaud the inversion of the word, or how it's become inverted, right? And how there could be considered some quite constricting emotions associated with the word matrix. And you can see why when you start to realise that there is potentially an inverted matrix where one imposes their womb upon the existing reality to what they deem to be their worldview, right? And to go into that a little bit more and to put it a little bit more simply, it's sort of saying like, well, I've got some gift wrap here, and I perceive this colour to be, let's say, we're going to say it's blue. And everyone else must consider that this colour is blue. Excuse me. someone might come in and say, oh, well, actually, I think this colour is green. And instead of having an argument about it, you can say, oh, well, yeah, it is kind of it's a maybe potentially a mixture between a blue and a green. Oh, awesome. Great, you've just added another perspective to how this colour may be seen. And, obviously that's a very simple example. And it's also not to encourage people to disregard, I guess, what they consider to be true. But, if that person was to then also try and impose their perception of that colour upon your perception, was really wanting to have a go at you about it, that's also an example of them trying to impose their womb on an existing reality to what they deem to be their worldview. And obviously that very simple example can be expanded to many other areas of not just your interpersonal life, but I guess collectively and globally as well. So yeah, remember the real meaning of Matrix. And be aware of the inverted meanings of Matrix. I'm interested to know whether you had already come back to this remembering yourself, or whether there's anything else you want to add to what it is that I've just spoken into. And if you want to provide any sort of examples of where you've realised that you are inverting a matrix yourself, you're perpetuating that yourself. It's all very easy to point supposedly out there, the supposed external, right, and go, they're doing this and they're trying to impose an inverted matrix on me, la 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 la. But also when one's got to come back and go, oh, well, that's happening to me. Do I perpetuate that in my life too? So yeah, it's a potential mirror. I'm not saying that the world has to be viewed through a mirror, and that it's the only purpose. But it is a potential tool that can be helpful in certain aspects of life. And yeah, I feel I've shared all that I needed to, and I will see you in the next vlog.